Batman. Yeah, man. I'm
What's
back
up,
in the
dog?
house. Man, I'm here, brother. It's good to see you, man. And
Word.
yeah, man. How'd your con go? I know you was at the con this weekend and everything.
Oh
So
man, it was pretty good, man. I actually that's not entirely accurate. It was really good, it was good enough that I was able to. Here we go. All right, I just want to make sure I can share it on Twitter. We're live.
yes, sir.
All right, let me just do that real quick. Yeah, it was a good show, man. You know, considering us, we keep talking about MegaCon as a big medium show, and that's
Mm.
probably true. However, this show was pretty big, man. It was like, man, it's got to be a top five show, man. It's got to be a top five show. And
Reason I'm asking is because like I heard Richard and Ethan when they were talking earlier, and a lot of these cons, man, it sounds like the attendance is dropping off and stuff. And
it is, but is it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. See, I don't know, man. Sometimes I hear people talk like that, and I wonder. A lot of these guys don't go to shows no more, so they don't. They're just basing it off of some information. But I gotta say this though. Sunday, the con was $55 to get in.
oh wow, okay.
So maybe that's why attendance is low.
Mm.
I'm just saying.
So them prices are what are they crazy, Larry? And their prices are insane.
Yeah.
So
There's definitely some of that going on. So it's not that simple. I think there's a lot to be said about, um, when you do a show, you hoping that you can make a difference and hopefully you can make some money. But if people can't get in, or if they get in but they can't afford nothing when they get in,
mm.
that's always a challenge. That's always a challenge of the show. But it's been like that forever, man. It's never been better, um, except for when the prices were a little cheaper. Or
Yeah,
when you have that many people in the place and it turns into a fire hazard. That's happened too. I've been to shows where they had to shut down part of it and get people had to, they couldn't stay the whole time. They had to leave because of, I was at a hotel one time and they were kicking people out because it was a fire hazard.
yeah. Well, I've got a buddy of mine, and he works this. There's an anime con in Nashville every year, and he last few years he's been up there, and he's like, "Yo, Tonyo, come down, man, do all that." And I looked on the website because I was like, "Okay, so you working it?" And I thought he was gonna hook me up with some passes or something. But he was like, "Well, no." He was like, "No, bitch, you gotta pay to get in. I can't get you." I was like, "Oh," so I went on the website, and that shit was expensive as hell, man.
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn."
Well, and that's the thing. It's not just, you're right. You're right. It's an anime con. Then there's comic cons, and sometimes the product crosses over. So you got the same stuff at the same shows or different shows. So you pick and choose your show, and then if you lose, it's like anything else. It's become a big business,
I feel
and
you on that.
since it's become a big business, it comes with big money, big adjustments, big prices.
How many cons do you say you hit a year?
I probably now I have planned maybe six at most.
Because I mean, I know you went up to C2E2, and
Yeah, that was a fluke. That wasn't something I probably shouldn't have done that show. C2E2 is difficult for me, and I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's you know a lot of times for some of us as artists, we're competing with some of the bigger names, man. You can imagine if like I was walking through Artist Alley this time, big old banner, big old mustache, goatee, and glasses logo. It was Greg Capullo. When Greg Capullo's in the house, nobody else is.
so he still has a name cachet, a draw.
Yeah. He at least distracts people from us.
Well,
So,
the reason I'm saying that is because right there at the end, before Ethan said he kind of fell back on going to these cons. He was talking about, back in the day, he used to go to a con and he have a line for days. And then he started going to the cons and the little kid that plays Catwoman on Gotham has got a bigger
Yeah,
they stopped featuring, you don't have Wizard Magazine anymore, all
right.
that kind of stuff. And it's it just, I thought that was interesting. So
Well, that's very true. It definitely has shifted over to a what they call it a oh my god, pop culture shows, right? And so your celebrities have dominated the con scene. There's still money to be made. I make good money. It's and a lot of it is due to my own popularity has been kind of growing with different groups. Instagram is growing for me.
yeah, big time on the Instagram.
Yeah, everybody's kind of like, oh yeah, I follow your work on Instagram. I get a lot of that all the time. So I appreciate that. And I think that's part of the reason why it went well for me. Also, I got to tell you, man, I think a big problem is, I remember my old mentor used to say, I think he was quoting Einstein, I think, but he was saying that technology is putting us in a position where we are making problems faster than we can solve them. Something like that.
Mm.
And everything's shifting so much, man. And we keep trying to do the old way of doing stuff. Everybody keeps talking about how it used to be, the good old days, but the good old days are called the good old days for a reason. It's time to move on. Like, so like I saw these guys with banners, we're all walking around with 2-foot banners, 3-foot banners, and everybody has them. And then everybody's got a bunch of prints everywhere and a bunch of stuff. And it's like, man, it's just a bunch of gray. There's so much visual energy everywhere. Everything just kind of disappears in itself. So I'm a big proponent of trying to, utilizing some of what I know about marketing and stuff and trying to go bigger and bolder, but keep my product smaller and less expensive for the customers. But your presence has to be felt, man. If you're going to go to a show and you think you're going to be awesome with your little banner of Goo Boo Goo Goo and the Funky Bunch, these people go in there like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a hit. Yeah, I mean, I know that saying, if you build it, they will come, seems to be popular, but you better build something bigger because they can't find you in that mess. So that's a big problem there, And frankly, I will say that there's just a lot of competition out there. So you have to stand out somehow, at least visually. If not, I think what should be the most important thing is excellence. Your stuff has to stand out from all the rest because it's good. But
Okay, first of all, I see Cecil out there. Shout out to Cecil. See Jon Malin. Shout out to Jon Malin.
Oh, Google and the Funky Bunch is here right now.
And Jon Malin says, any problem starting to hang out? No, mine just started right up. I didn't have any issues, but I had heard some people saying that it was messing up earlier. So I don't know.
That was my fault.
Maybe they didn't. Yeah. I don't know. It just messes everything up when you be trying to stream and everything.
Yeah. Google. That's what it
is. And they got to, I'm addicted to this stuff, man, like crack and all that. I like. Well, I'm just, I don't know. I like doing the streams. Like I did one right after the Game of Thrones series finale. I did one, and it was good, man. It had like 40 people in the chat, and I was tripping. I was like, all right, man. It's like, and it was like at 10 something, almost 11 at night. And I was like, oh man. But it was a very active chat. People, there was a lot of people there that watched, and I had a lot to say.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm kind of mad at Jon Malin because he got me wanting to watch the show, but everybody's mad about how it ended, so I don't want to watch it anymore.
No, once you get those first 4 seasons, you gotta watch, man. Those first 4 years I thought were incredible. Season 5's not horrible.
Did you hear what you just told me now? Did you just hear what you said? Those first 4 years? Are you crazy right now? I don't have 4 years to watch.
I was like, man, that's classic episodes though. I've talked about some of the issues I thought where they started adding stuff that weren't, that's not in the books. Like, they had Sansa getting raped, and yeah, Sansa getting raped didn't happen in the books, and she's getting raped in Winterfell, and I was like, oh god, that's yeah. So,
So
and
is it really important for you that the books match up with the show, or the show matches the books?
if you're gonna base something on the books,
Uh-huh.
then yeah, it's just like when I see comic book movies, that's one of the reasons I pick them apart. That's why the MCU movies were so good to me, is because they were so faithful to the material. That's why I was like, you'd see these superhero movies before, and he'd be like, yeah, they changed. Like when they did those Fantastic Four movies, I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they tried to do the Silver Surfer story, and then they didn't do they did like Ultimate Galactus and all, and
Ooh.
I was wanting to see Galactus. I wanted to see the big guy in the ship, that's gonna eat the planet. I want to see the Devourer of Worlds. I didn't like all that. And then that last Fantastic Four movie, the one they did in 2016, I think that shit was trash. It was
Uh,
hot garbage. The one with Michael B. Jordan.
oh yeah, that was bad.
Oh, it was so bad.
Hey, Jon Malin made a comment in there. He said, "Watch The Endless." By the way, was it good? Did you like it? That's a movie on Netflix. I thought was really really good. You should check it
I've
out.
heard some people talking about that. I haven't peeped it yet. I need to check that. Okay.
Yeah, check it out. I want to see what you think about it. No, man, that Fantastic Four really was bad. And you know what? I didn't mind Michael B. Jordan as Human Torch. I just didn't like it. It was just a bad movie.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be like, oh, it's not the same, blah, 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 blah. But really, he was fine. It was the rest of it that was garbage. That Doctor Doom was terrible.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And they seem to get Doctor Doom a little more accurate in the first two Fantastic Four movies, but those movies weren't very good either.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, that was the actor. What was it? The guy that played Christian on Nip Tuck, which I love. I used to watch Nip Tuck on FX all the time, man. That was my show.
I never saw that either.
Oh, yeah, it was just ugh.
Do you have a thing for plastic surgery?
Well, no, I've thought about lipo though. That would be nice, but it's just
My father one time suggested that to me, and I was like, "What? What are you talking about? I'm not doing that. No, you should try it." I said, "No, I'm good."
When I was a kid, though, you see stuff about plastic surgery, and you'd always have to go to another state or fly out to California somewhere or something. So we got a couple of these clinics in like Nashville, and there's a doctor that offers it here in my city now. So I was like, what? Like plastic surgery, really? I was like, okay. Just
we got plenty of it in Tampa, man.
Yeah, I figure, Florida, Miami. Well, there's that one guy, Dr. Miami, that apparently works on everybody and everything. I've seen him, so.
I don't know about that, but I know there's some crazy people over here.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like my stuff natural. I like to see it shake and wiggle, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way I do, man. I like.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I do, man. Hey, man, let me see them cheeks, man. Go ahead and shake it, wiggle it. No, I don't know. I like them natural. When
with emphasis. Yeah.
Hold on. Cecil's crazy. Hold on. I had lipo. They took some of my ass fat and made me a beautiful set of D. Where does he come up with this material? I need to interview Cecil so I can find out how he comes up with all his material.
Yeah, he's a natural beat. He's natural too.
Yeah, he's just really funny though. I've noticed. I was like, yeah, he's just real quick witted and just real funny dude.
Yeah, I'm not that, man. I tried. I try to be funny. I just try to. I think I'm just a funny looking person. People laugh at me. I can't seem to get them to laugh with me, but it's difficult. It's difficult. You have to be gifted for that, and I think he's got the gift of gab, as they say.
I'm like, if Cecil wants to come on, Cecil has got an open door in my channel. I mean, as a matter of fact, I can I can drop him a link. Let me see.
John's out there too.
Yeah,
Crying.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, y'all part of the team, man. We can get y'all on.
What's up, man? What's up?
I'm like, see here. Okay, hold on. So I'm finna send y'all some of these sexy links. Tell me about this Batman you do, because I saw you started working on that the other day.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It was really just I did this. Wait, what did I do with it? I had something else here. I might have gotten rid of it, but it was I did like a Wolverine, a Frankenstein. I don't know what I did with it, but anyway, it wasn't that good. It was pretty much trash. But I did a Batman 1000 cover that was like really expensive. It was like a $40 cover.
oh wow.
And
Oh,
was
what
like,
those blank sketch cover
yeah,
deals?
yeah. And I thought, okay, that's cool. I could do it. But I had no idea what it really was. And he asked for it to be in color. And I thought all I was going to do was do a white pencil sketch. And he, so the challenge was out there for me to produce something that I had never really done. And the stakes were higher. I mean, that's not that expensive, but it is expensive enough for me. I didn't have $40 to give him for a cover. I messed up. So I kind of, I took it on the shoulders to go execute, and I started to, and it kind of worked out, man. He looked cool. Some people were challenging me on why I was using this color, the blue, instead of anything else. It's because it's a black cover and it's already black. I could add gray, but it would look boring to me. So I figured I'd go with the classic blue, which looks really nice against the black. And needless to say, it went over really, really well. The client was super happy, and I was happy that he was happy, and I was happy that I didn't have to try to fix anything further. And so now I got this going, and I'm like, you know what? Let me try some more. So I bought a pack of what's this stuff called? It's called Black by Fabriano. That sounds like a bad joke, but
oh, the man, the myth, the legend, Cecil is in the house. What's going on, Cecil? How you doing, player?
Hello.
I love Cecil. That's awesome. I was like, how you doing,
Black. Cecil, what's going on, man?
How you doing, Elliot? You still working on that Batman? Why don't you hurry it up?
I'm done with it, really. I'm just touching it up. I just wanted something to work on while we talked. I'm actually in the middle. Huh?
Is that a commission?
No. It's just experiments, trying some things out.
Is that going on the auction block?
It might. Some people have already offered me money for it recently, so I don't have any plans necessarily for it, one way or the other. But
somebody mailed me that Dick Ryder one that you made for Drawn and Quartered when I was the subject.
Yeah.
You sold it to someone at C2E2?
No, I sent it to you.
No. That was the one I bought from you. Somebody bought the one that you did on Drawn and Quartered at C2E2, and they mailed it to me.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Now I got two.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what you gonna do with all that, man? You got some. That's the early development art.
That's the early development. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it.
Are you still trying to put something together with that as a concept?
Yeah. I said I wouldn't start till 10,000 subs because I thought that would never happen. But now,
yeah, your channel's growing like crazy.
But now it seems like I'm gonna have to start writing something. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I'm definitely going to do something with that.
All right, on, man. Well,
but I have a pretty decent story. It's going to be a lot more of an artist story. I had written so much dialogue, and I actually tore up like 3 times, and then I just gave up on it. And then I was either talking to Zach or Zach was talking to Ethan on one of the streams, and he was like, I see like a comic of Cecil having like a full chase scene that goes on page after page after page.
Yeah.
And then I could just write funny jokes the whole way through, but it's really in the artist's hand to make it, pop. I could just give the scenarios. He's going to run through here, run through there, encounter this, say that. So yeah, I figure I will put the burden on the artist.
Oof.
That's the way I used to do projects in high school. Anything like that, where other people would do most of the work. I always felt like I excelled at that.
Yes, you did excel, Cecil. You did.
I was always good at that.
Letting the other people do. So talk to us about.
I was the same, Cecil. I'd find the biggest nerd, and then I'd hand him my book and say, "Do my homework."
See, Malin, that's why I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
And you know what, John? You could hardly tell that you didn't do your own homework.
Yeah. Yeah, I said, make it look like me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when it was right, you kept changing it, so that's gotta be
So
different.
so they wrote all the R's backwards.
Oh, the paranormal fans have rolled up. I've started to see the red circles, man.
Woo! Paranormals. Yeah, we're having a rough patch here. We got last week I was at the show, and this week Brian's celebrating his wedding anniversary.
Oh, so y'all not doing it this week?
Huh?
Y'all not gonna do it this week?
Well, like I said, he's celebrating his wedding anniversary. I don't think his wife would appreciate. Honey, I love you. I got to go do this stupid show with Elliot.
I just thought y'all put it on a different day or something, you know.
No, man.
That's what the red circles remind me of, a rough patch. Red sphincters.
Oh, wow.
What?
Oh, wow.
A whole row of them.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, not at all. See, John, you're hurtful. You're hurtful. This Batman will beat you with his chest.
Yeah, move it to Friday.
Well, I don't know. I didn't. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on Friday. There was supposed to be an auction on Friday.
Is he still doing that? Because I heard you. I know Ethan was on. He hopped on with Mike last night, and he was telling Mike to kind of cool it on them auctions for a little while. Because
okay. Well,
yeah, I don't know if Mike's gonna listen to him. Mike didn't say he was gonna listen, but he was like, "Yeah, they're starting to."
Mike doesn't listen to anything.
Because Elliot, Ethan was like, yeah, the money's starting to dry up a little bit. Look like, man, you might want to cool it on those for a while.
Yeah.
Mike won't listen until he sells like an X-Man cover for like $40. Then he'll be like, okay. Yeah, you got to.
Someone should teach him a lesson.
It should be like bi-monthly or once a month.
Yeah,
but
especially if Ethan will host, because Ethan's like, yeah, I want to just do them like once a month. I don't want to do them every week, But
well, I don't even think it's that. I think that if Mike did his auctions, and if all it was people bring in 2 or 3 pieces, I mean, there's way too much downtime, and they run way too long. I mean, these things should be going for about 2 hours and cut it off right then and there, and they run about 6. So zero way of building up any kind of momentum or interest, and people just know these things are going to go on till doomsday. It's the same reason I have for cutting off campaigns at the when they're done instead of running them in demand. It builds excitement why they know there's limited time.
Well, that's why I like to say, go ahead and count it. Don't wait too long, because it really does drag the energy down.
Yeah.
And,
it's the 6 hours. It's the 6 hours that drags it down for. I mean, the last one I did when I was listening to because Edwin does them before I hop on,
right? And
I was like, it seemed like hours went by and they hadn't even got through everybody one time. I'm like, are you kidding me? So it's got to pick up the speed.
I was watching
6 hours is too much.
I was watching the other day too, and I noticed that Brian went on at a certain time, and it was almost like, I think he went around 9:15, 9:30, and he didn't get back on until around 11:30 for a second.
Yeah, Anna just dipped out. She's like, screw this.
Oh, that was the one she was on? That went on forever?
Well, they all go on forever. 6 hours. Yeah, I mean, to the point that when it's at the last bit of the night, you can tell everybody's just pooped, including the audience. And then it's like, let's see if we can squeeze one more out. And it's like, nah, I don't think it really needs to be done, man.
So why doesn't he do like 4 artists, 2 pieces each, and then have it rotate the next, a week or 2 weeks later, 4 different artists, 2 each. And if it's going well, then you could just keep adding art.
Yeah. Well, I think if he just does limits everything to 2 each, then I think that would pretty much take care of the problem. The problem is when people are shuffling through their pages. I don't know which one you guys might like, bid on whatever you want when you get around to it. And then you wait 5 minutes for that bid to go off to one obscure piece. And then you're like, okay, now we're going to start doing this. But then it turns out more or less, it's only that one person that wanted that one anyways.
Well, see, I told Kanan a couple times. I was like, I feel like you don't know when to feature the right piece. You'll be like, all right, I've got this print here, and I was like, you got some hot shit sitting there that you need to, this actual original art. You need to be when you see the money flowing in. That's when you need to drop it. Don't wait till the crowd is dying down and go, oh, let me pull out this original art piece I have.
Mm-hmm.
You end up not getting anything. And he was like, yeah, I don't do that good. And I'm like,
yeah, everybody dreads being the first one. Everybody's like, there's like 5 people. Okay, here's my piece. And it falls apart.
Yeah, well, that's when you don't bring out your $500 page. That's when you bring out something where you're hopeful maybe you'll get 100 off of it.
Right.
In the first couple of bids, because I mean the room's not really full or full enough.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's tricky. Obviously it's helped me tremendously to be on there, and I'm very grateful for those opportunities. I'm sure all of us are.
No, yeah, Kanan's loved that because he was like, in between, drawing pages, he still has to like do commission work here and there and all that, So he was like, that really helps because help put some more groceries on the table, and I can go back to drawing these pages. So I was like, that works. So,
but it does create a problem though, and to Malin's point, and really all of us, we all see there's potentially the crowd dies out and they're not interested anymore. And like Mike, he auctioned that animal thing, right? What was that one? The Packins Land cover. It was ultra deep, man. I couldn't believe it was so much work he put into that. I think he only got a couple $100 for it or something. Is that right?
Yeah, I saw Kanan get ripped.
Oh, he pulled that, didn't he?
Oh, did he pull it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's what somebody's saying in here. Eric Hawkins says, and don't pull an item because it doesn't get the bid you want right in the middle of an auction. Yeah, because he put it out there like it was free for all. Then he wanted to put a $1,000 limit on it, like after the bids were just kind of creaking in. And it's like, yeah, I understand that you want to, $1,000, but I keep trying to look at everything from like a fan perspective. It's one thing when you're sitting right there with your friends and you're like, yeah, you're getting screwed a little bit on this thing. But it's like from the fan point of view, who doesn't have any interest in you other than your art, and may they like you a little bit. But yeah, once you start the bid, man, it's like, you got to stick with it. That's how I feel. Is you got to stick with it. If you want to put a minimum bid on it, then go ahead. Everybody's fine with it. Hey guys, let's see if we can pull $1,000 out here. If not, it's going back in the box.
Yeah, you can start it like that, but it has to start like that, not in the middle of it.
Yeah, you gotta drop that out when you first start the bids. Like, okay, opening bids 500 right out the gate, that kind of thing. That's let me see.
That is kind of bullshit, because part of the fun of sticking around for these hours and hours is you might be able to get a deal or just get lucky. And from the fans' point of view, and if you're going to pull it off, that was kind of bullshit. Yeah, he just has to, like you said, Antonio, just put an opening bid of 800, and that's it. And also maybe that the excitement for that cover isn't here yet because the book's not out. No one knows what it is.
Right. That's true. Right.
Yeah, there's a line in that Band of Brothers where they were talking about, it was 2 officers talking about working with or gambling. One of them was gambling with the NCOs, and the other officer, the superior officer, tells the junior officer, he's like, never put yourself in a position where these guys feel like you're taking from them. And I think that's good business advice too. You want your fans to always feel like you're on their side, you're working for them, never in a position to burn. I mean, that's the last thing you ever want someone to walk away with, is the feeling of being burned. And especially in Comicsgate, because this is a fandom that largely sees itself as being burnt. So, mistreated, abused by professionals. So, you have to put in a little bit of extra thought instead of just kind of whipping out a page and being like, see how this goes. Not going as good as I hoped.
I know how it feels to be abused. Every time I go on to Join a Quarter with Jon Malin, I always feel
Okay, hold up. I got a super chat, Smiling Brando. Hey, Cecil, what's your thoughts on Doug leaving Comicsgate? He says he agrees with Comicsgate, but no longer in the movement. Sounds like he sold out.
He did a little bit. I mean, I think it's a bit bullshit, but it's hard. I still like Doug. Don't get me wrong. I'm not.
I'm cool.
I'm not at war with him or anything like that. But I think he came in. He asked for Comicsgate support when he was down on his ass. We gave it to him big time. From that, I'm sure the people who had Earthworm Jim noticed the success that we gave him as Comicsgate. And then they gave him another great opportunity, and he's going to do great work. His work is fantastic. But we could use big wins so that we could point that to our movement and say, this is a winning movement. To have a guy that we propped up, helped out, got him going. Not propped up. He did a great product, but to have him then just be like, I don't know, he got into a feud with a couple of guys. Look at Zach's channel. It's over 100,000 people. Those are Comicsgate. You got into an argument with 4 or 5 guys and you're like, fuck this movement. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way, but like I said, I like Doug on a personal level.
Yeah, I like him too. It just felt like a convenient excuse to move away. It maybe because of the Earthworm Jim stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't need Comicsgate anymore, and it's a liability for him as far as in the Hollywood world. So he walked away on that part. Part of me respects him on that. It's like, you got to get your money while you can, and he doesn't need anything to fuck it up. And I hear him. So, but part of me also would say, this would be nice to be like, hey, this is a successful movement. Look at the success of this guy. To have a big name guy, a marquee guy, just publicly disavow is kind of not the best feeling.
Yeah,
it kind of puts everybody else into a weaker position.
Yep.
But I talked to Doug, but one thing I thought that I saw that I didn't like is that it gave people like Mags Visaggio a talking point, because I saw she took Doug's tweet and she was like, CG is so bad that Doug Maple doesn't want to be in it. And I was like, oh God, get the fuck out of here with that.
They're happy for him not to be in it because he's a success. So they're happy to take his resignation from it. Oh yeah, no, he's not comics. You know what I mean?
I was just like, come on, man. Y'all, Mags blocked everybody. she blocked everybody. She's got one of them damn block bots, because I've never tweeted. I've been added into tweets with her, but I have never once tried to contact Magdalene Visaggio ever. I don't read her work, any of that stuff. And then all of a sudden I got blocked
for a movie deal, so you'll be able to.
Look, hold on. Let me defend my boy for a second, because I appreciate everything everybody's saying, but let's face it. The reality is, people like to cause drama, like to fight, and like to bring things to the light. Even this conversation right here wouldn't have even happened if someone didn't try to bring it up in the super chat, and all of a sudden now everybody's talking about it. And that's exactly what happened before. It wasn't easy for Doug to get onto anything without anybody bringing anything up. He couldn't even just let things go as it was, because people keep talking about it all the time. And if you want to be quiet about it, you want to be chill about it, just relax, cool off. Nobody in this group wants to let anything down. So, to be honest, in Doug's defense, and I can't believe I'm trying to defend Doug, but it doesn't make any sense when people are accusing him of one thing or the other, but they're antagonizing the situation. They're making it worse every time they talk about it in front of all kinds of people and in every way. And so, to be honest, I appreciate what you guys are saying, especially because I do agree that it definitely is bad optics when someone is moving around and shifting around for us. But I do think that many of the people in the group in the Comicsgate and beyond have contributed to a lot of this nonsense and dramatic things, and for that matter, for their own benefit and their own selfish reasons, without actually considering what it does to the greater purpose of what Comicsgate started for. At least why I got involved with Comicsgate in the first place. So it's like, I wish that we were really just creating comics that were good and that were apolitical and all that stuff. But that's not the spirit of some of the people involved. And it's unfortunate. Those 4 or 5 guys create a lot of noise.
Well,
you put them on block. You put them on block. Doug doesn't leave Christianity because someone in another denomination doesn't like him.
You put them on block, and then everybody gets mad because you cut off a customer.
No, everybody's been pretty open that you're allowed to block whoever you want. It's block bots that people are against.
I don't know. That's not the story I hear. I
do see that because it's like, oh, you blocked the customer. Matter of fact, and something else that you saw Zach. He put up the on his comment section about the fact that he was not involved in the Diversity in Comics Comics Matter group on Facebook, and I saw people on that group just dragging him, talking about that he's rude to customers and all this kind of stuff. And I was like,
dragging who?
Richard C. Meyer. But and I saw the admin, he responded to Richard's post on Richard, he was like, I guess he felt like they had kind of dragged the group, which I just felt like Richard was explaining why he left the group, and that all he simply asked was that they take the official Comics Matter off the group thing. And then, like I said, it just seemed like in the group, it caused a lot of, it caused a lot of, discourse, and people were not happy. So I contacted him. I asked him what was going on, and because I always thought it was his group, and then he was like, no, I was never an admin on the group, and it was just fans that were doing it. So it was an interesting, matter of fact, you can read, I don't think he's deleted it, it's up there, and there was a bunch of people talking on that post on his page, but yeah, in the actual group, which I saw they changed the name of it now, so because that's all he said. That's the only thing I did was ask them to take the official off of the name of the group, because I didn't, I'm not an admin on it. I don't have any control on it.
Yeah, it's not actually his group.
So yeah, it just seemed like, but that's one thing I had noticed is there's a lot of people in that group that don't like Ethan. There's a lot of people, and I mean they've been dumping on Ethan for a while, and I was sitting there going, I was like, wait a minute, this is Zach's group, and people here just dragging Ethan through the ground, and just, I don't know, but I mean,
well, that's what the movement or the community is gigantic now. Like I said, Zach's channel is really the most indicative of how big it is, because he only talks about Comicsgate stuff. So when you see 100,000, that's people interested in comics. When you see Ethan's is over 125, 130, he's also got the Star Wars, community in there. But Zach's is like a legit number. So you got 100,000 people involved in something. Of course, no one's going to like everything the same. This is a huge amount of people.
That's true.
And people get upset when there's disagreements, and it's like, just so if this group of people is something you don't like, whether it's John Delarose, there's a lot of people in Comicsgate that don't get along with each other. That doesn't mean they're not Comicsgate. It just means they should just do their own thing, have their own audience, and speak to their own group. It's easy to avoid. I have people that I just mute because I'm just don't want to hear it. Nobody knows.
I've never had to mute or block anyone, and I've had my share of dramas. When the Ace brings up a point, he says, come on, Elliot, you're smarter than that. Doug loves to start drama. Did you forget the Jean-Luc debacle? Comicsgate puts things out in the open. We don't hide stuff. And that's the point that I drove home the other night on Mike's, is, the drama is what moves the sales. So when these channels grow, that's the growth of Comicsgate. When Ethan gets to 125, that's the growth of Comicsgate. That's not because it's the nice and peaceful and coexistence
I think Doug knows
utopia
that.
that people want. What's that?
Doug knows that also. I mean,
Yeah.
No, Doug's charm
think
is
Doug,
that he has no charm. He's always going to say the wrong thing and antagonize somebody.
exactly.
That's kind of why I like him.
Yeah, Doug's a drama queen.
But he's a jerk. I like that.
So yeah, and we know that because he's so open about all his stuff. And yeah, I mean, he went off on a tear for what was it, 2 days straight. So, and everybody was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" But yeah, he's not immune to drama, not at all. And none of us really are, because look, if we, and again, this is what I tried driving home the other night. If everyone wants the drama to go away and it just to be about making a comic and making a good story, that's fine. Everyone's welcome to do that. But what you're going to get is you're going to get the same sales that you've always gotten in the independent market, which is going to be next to nothing, you being broke and not making a living wage. So if anyone desires that, I encourage them all to remove themselves from drama completely, 100%, and dramatic people. On the other hand, we are in a fight here. We have things to talk about, just like a Howard Stern show back in the 90s. I don't know how it is anymore, but back in the 90s, he would bring people on. He would bring people on. They would have discussions publicly about what was bothering them or what wasn't bothering them. And there's even been times where people have been like, "Look, man, well, I try to get I try to get them to have Howard call me off air so we could talk about this, but he just wants to do it on air." And it's like, yeah, because look, we all have time, we all have dreams, and doing on air, this helps grow everything. This helps build the audiences. So the drama, good and bad, is all part of what builds this out to where people can start making living wages again in comic books.
I'm not interested in that. You guys can have it.
That's fine. But you still surround yourself with dramatic people. Doug is a dramatic person. He will do all the swings and the hits while you sit there on the side.
That's not true. That's not true. But you don't know what other drama I deal with on a regular basis. And what I really don't appreciate is, especially when people on the chat that have comments about my personal life who don't know anything about me.
Well, so, I can't answer any of that. I don't know anything about any of that stuff.
That's the kind of drama I'm talking about. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, well, you're never going to get away from criticism from anonymous people.
But I haven't done shit. That's my point.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the criticism
I didn't know, Ellie, you're being attacked on Twitter or
I've
YouTube?
been attacked enough and beyond, man, beyond Twitter. For all kinds of stuff, for my faith, for all kinds of things that I feel.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's everybody, man.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone gets your basic criticisms for your basic beliefs.
Yeah, well, it's not everybody does. Not everybody does. And
who doesn't?
A lot of people like to hide behind groups. A lot of people like to hide behind their shields.
Who's not being criticized for their religious beliefs?
I don't know. Whatever. Anybody can be, and everybody has not.
These are basic things. Now, when they're actually going at you as a person or at your family, I mean, those are more crossing the line type things. But criticism is not harassment. I try to stress that out to people as well. Everyone jumps to the victim. I'm a victim. Oh, you don't know what I'm dealing with because I'm this or that. And like everyone deals with that shit. Every last one of us deals with that shit.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Like,
is that the Hulk?
Paul. It looks like the Hulk.
Yeah.
It is.
I didn't know you were getting harassed, Elliot.
Well,
it sounds like he's getting criticized.
You know what, John? You don't know anything about it. I don't share everything about it because I don't feel like I need to share everything about everything that I deal with. But it's all good. I'm not interested in bringing it all up in front of people because most people don't know how to handle it. They're too immature to deal with the facts. So no, I don't like to share my personal business with everybody, and that's why I say you can have the drama if that's what fuels your business, and let it fuel your business.
Well, it's what fuels all our business.
Well,
it's what's going to help fuel your business by your association with Doug TenNapel. Doug is a drama queen. We love Doug, but let's not act like he's not. And let's not act like that abrasive attitude doesn't help a channel to grow.
I don't know. I think Doug is just the alpha type personality. I think Doug is just being Doug. I don't ever see Doug do. Some people do things because they feel like it's calculated and they're trying to they're trying, like when you mentioned Howard Stern was doing things to shock and get a response, and I think Doug is just Doug believes what he believes and he stands on it. I just and I told Doug, I was like, sometimes I think you're a nut, but he's loyal and he's been extremely supportive of me, so I'm always gonna I'm gonna have his back. But if he does something I don't agree with, I always speak to him privately and tell him. It's like I can't co-sign that, and I feel like we're being becoming friends. That's something you should have to do. You should have the respect for that person and let them know directly. But,
all right, so that was a good super chat. You got a lot out of it.
Yeah, I suspect this one will be making the round.
After that, how much did they pay?
$4.99.
$4.99. It should have been a $20 fucking super chat. You got Elliot over there, steam coming out of his ears. $4.99.
But I mean, that's the thing, though. Like I said, I understand where he's coming from, because, like I said, I don't know. Some people don't talk to Doug. I talk to Doug quite a bit. With me and him are in the DMs and stuff quite a bit. Just. It's like, I don't know. I'm very fond of him, even when he does stuff that drives me crazy. I'm very fond of Doug TenNapel. I don't think he's a bad person, and I know some people have tried to spin it like he's a bad person. I think he's a good person, and
this is the first I've ever spoke about it ever.
No, I'm not saying you.
I don't think I was bashing him, but
no, but
I recognize that things could be handled a little different. Doug's got a lot of pride, so he doesn't like to defuse stuff. He sometimes I feel like there's a few times he could have diffused stuff, even if he was in the right. Sometimes you just be a little bit more political or just back off a little bit and swallow your pride a little. But he's not like that, which is also part of his charm.
He's pit bull. That's what I was saying. But I like that he's gonna fight. I know if my back was against the wall and I needed somebody to watch my back, I know Doug TenNapel's gonna be one of those people. I'm just saying he's I fuck with Doug. He cool peoples. So that's what it is.
He's fine. I just was answering the question honestly.
I get it.
I wish that he didn't leave Comicsgate because of War Campaign. I mean,
and a lot of people have said that.
War Campaign is a small, like I said, it's what, 15, 20, 30 guys? I don't know how many guys. It's a small group out of 100,000. So it's like, you know what I mean? To me, it was a little reactionary. He could have been a little more diplomatic and just been like, fuck these guys, I don't like them, blocked them, and just kept being Comicsgate. But if he had to do it for the other reason, if he's doing it because of other reasons that we don't know about, regarding Earthworm Jim, it's a big property, cartoons could be made, toys, and he just can't be involved with Comicsgate because I don't like it, but I totally respect it. He's got
let's unpack that, because when I had Doug on a couple weeks ago, he was very clear, as he was about to launch, that that Earthworm Jim was not going to be a CG property. Because he doesn't own it, the company doesn't want to be associated. He was very clear on that, and I noticed even then that people were like, "So wait a minute, you're not going to have this as a CG book?" And I'm like, he's telling you right off the top, hey, I don't own Earthworm Jim. I just have the rights to make these books, and the company that owns Earthworm Jim does not want to be associated with CG. And I noticed people were starting to get bent out of shape about it then. And I'm like, he's telling you, hey, I don't own the character outright like I do with Bigfoot Bill. I have to be in compliance. But he wasn't, he was like, I appreciate all my CG back. He said that multiple times. He's like, I've got a lot of people that back Bigfoot Bill that are CG backers. And he's, I appreciate them. Hopefully they'll come along on the ride for Earthworm Jim. And I respected that. But sometimes, that's what it is.
Decision. He's got to be like, he's got a family to feed. And if they're like, that was one of the stipulations, then that's fine. Then he's got to do that.
Okay, Rodwell Stevens, you asked a question. What's a CG book? What's a CG book? Well, I mean,
well, Bigfoot Bill was.
Yeah, Bigfoot Bill was definitely a CG book. Brand is definitely a CG book. I'm in Comicsgate, so that's what it is. I don't. But if you're not in Comicsgate, then I guess you're just putting out a comic. Now, I will say that my book would be able to be enjoyed by a mass audience. It wouldn't. You don't have to be quote unquote CG to like my book, or I would say the vast majority of other CG books. But I don't know. By EVS's definition, isn't Doug still CG? Then I heard Ethan saying that. Then I mean that's what it is. But I'm also respecting Doug's public statement that he is not associated with Comicsgate anymore. So until that changes, until the person says, "Hey, all right, I'm back," then Doug says he's not in Comicsgate, and that's what it is. But Doug's still my friend, so I'm cool with that. So
that's the truth.
That's what I'm like. Yeah, I mean, I've got a ton of friends that are just quote unquote comic book fans and not CG comic book fans. They're just fans of the medium. Comics existed before CG. I would like to see CG grow and become things, but that's what it is. It's like we got to get past all these, these absolutes and these labels and the purity test. I was like, everybody's like, so you're not CG or you are, like all this stuff. I'm like,
well, a lot of the people that say they're not or they are, it doesn't really matter. It's what it's what people in the mainstream comic use as a slur against CG. So you could say you're not CG all you want, but they're going to be calling you that to try to keep you out of jobs. You know what I mean? It was a name basically given to us as a pejorative, and we took it and they're like, yeah, no, we are Comicsgate, and first it was against the fans. That's who it was. It was like a buyer's revolt with people complaining about it, and it was called Comicsgate. And then the creators would start ragging on the customers, calling them Comicsgate, and then a few bigger named artists came in, and Comicsgate started producing stuff, and then they started saying, yeah, we are Comicsgate. So they're going to use it against. You could say you're not Comicsgate all you want, but if somebody who's not Comicsgate but is in this crowd tries to get a job at mainstream, the first thing one of those editors are going to say is that guy's Comicsgate, and they're going to say, no, I never was Comics. They're like, they don't give a shit. You're Comicsgate if they say you are.
Well,
And,
I mean,
you
look at what happened.
Not, doesn't matter anything. You saying you're not when you're in the crowd with the same beliefs as the crowd, you still are.
Well, I mean, look at what happened to Billy Tucci. I feel like what happened to him yesterday, I thought that was disgusting.
Yeah, he associated with Comicsgate, so as far as they're concerned, he's Comicsgate. He could say he's not all he wants, but as far as they're going to be talking about him, he's Comicsgate. They don't give a shit about the nuance of, well, he declared he is, and you're not with us. You're against things in the mainstream. Then you're Comicsgate. They don't give a shit about infighting and that type of shit.
Yeah, he's just an ex-Nazi.
Right.
Oh,
I just used to be a Nazi, but I said they're bad now. They're too much for me.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter whether you say you are or not. They're not gonna take your word for it. And for somebody who is in Comicsgate and sees people declaring it, when I see people who are basically Comicsgate and then say they're not, I'm like, that's a nod to the mainstream. That's like, I'm not really with these guys, and they don't give a shit. They're never going to hire you anyway, but you're still sending that signal. Like, I'm not really with these guys. And it's like, they're never going to hire you. Like Marvel and DC is never going to hire you. So unless there's a massive shift over there in their policy and hiring and editorial, you're fucked. So you might as well declare it.
Let's see, SV for $2. The only label I care about is ABV percent. I don't know what that is. Maybe Cecil. Cecil, do you know what that is?
What
I'm
is
like,
it?
what is that? Oh, is that a? Oh, wait a minute. Is that some of the fine alcoholic beverage? I don't know. I don't know. Perhaps I don't drink enough.
ABV percentage, is that alcohol? That's what I would. It's for beer, I think.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I don't know. I was like, I was like, I do like my vodka though, but
Is he? Wait, ABV is for beer, maybe, but I always go by proof.
yeah. See, I understand like 100 proof and stuff like that. I don't. I was like, okay, maybe. I was like, but hey, I'm willing. Aha, alcohol by volume. Aha. Okay, there you go. All right, there you go. So, okay. All right, so
I think it's symbolic that Elliot is drawing the Hulk because I feel like he's hulking out. He's fuming over there.
Yeah.
Are you angry right now?
I just wanted to practice green. Nah, I'm all right.
Want to talk about it?
No, not at all.
Let's air it all out there.
See, that just goes to show that Cecil was not listening to Elliot one bit, whereas I was.
I'm fucking with Elliot right now. I was listening to him.
Let's see. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Vision Storm. I partly agree, but it's more complicated than that. All these gates have a lot of drama, and sometimes people get fed up and don't want to be associated. I follow a few CG adjacents like that.
Yeah,
most of the adjacents, as far as the mainstream industry is concerned, is our Comicsgate. Like whether they, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Like you can be adjacent, but if you tried to get a job at Marvel, that somebody editor would be like, I know that fucker, he's Comicsgate. I'd be like, no, I never declared I was Comicsgate.
Drama's everywhere. You know what happens to everyone once they get on Facebook? Every last person, they say there's a lot of drama on Facebook. That's life. That's life.
Yeah.
I don't have any drama.
Welcome to the internet.
I'm just not interested in cult activity, and I've dealt a lot with cults in the past, and wrestled with people that are involved in cults, and I feel like so many things in the atmosphere that we live in, both on CG and on SJW sides, are just that. They're just a bunch of people following what other people do because they're supposed to do it. And I wish that people would think for themselves and stop trying to gather people around them to make movements against people, because in fact, that very thing is exactly the thing that everyone's fighting against in Comicsgate. That very activity is exactly what people have been fighting and frustrated over, how they treat you differently. They push you aside. They don't give you jobs. Now they're doing the same thing on the other side. And it's like, well, if you don't recognize the demon and the monster and dragon inside of yourself, then you're just gonna fall into the same trap. And now it's just a bunch of the same volume, the same words, the same song being sung on both sides. And I personally am not interested in that. So I'm Comicsgate because I believe in the philosophy of Comicsgate, what we stand for as far as being part of a movement where people had disenfranchised to a certain degree or another. They feel like they've been pushed aside because of their beliefs and their ideas. And frankly, I think it's just I think in the end, it's just a big giant business move on a company that doesn't care about you guys as a customer. So I don't know why people still fight about Marvel and DC, because that as far as I'm concerned, they're carcasses of what they were before. But
oh, that's true.
Well, people fight about Marvel and DC is because most of us are 30, 40-year-olds that grew up on it. I mean, it's your childhood and a good portion of your adult life as well.
As a 46-year-old, I can say you got to move on sometime.
Yeah, but not everybody can, right?
Just like you said before, maybe
it's just like anything else. So you had really strong someone that you loved or something like that, someone that you had real strong feelings for, and at some point they break your heart. It can be hard. Yeah. I mean, that's the psychology behind it all, right?
And then what helps is to say sometimes you just gotta let things go. That's how.
Or maybe I can fix it.
You think
this has always been a relationship, from back in the days of Stan Lee, that said, if we're not working the way you want us to work with us, talk to us, let's have communication.
But they're not interested in your conversation.
Well, yeah, Stan Lee's long gone, but the rules had changed, but they haven't informed the audience that the rules had changed. They didn't say that your voice no longer matters.
Well, let me be the first to let everybody know.
Well, you're not the first. Everyone's well aware now.
All right. That's my point. It's a fruitless conversation. It yields no benefits to anyone but to get frustrated and angry for nothing. I say use that energy to build something bigger and better. That's all I've been saying.
Yeah, but that goes back to my point. We're using the behavior of Marvel and what they've done and the anger. A lot of the CG guys, they're all coming from Marvel and DC. We're using that and we're trying to build something new from that. But guess what? That means that in order for that energy to be there, Marvel, DC, they are our rivals. They're our rivals. You're an LA Laker fan. These guys are, I don't know, Detroit Piston, right? That's both basketball, right? Yeah, they're our rivals. We're not trying to kill the people at Marvel or DC. We don't want them like stoned to death or anything like that. But we're going to use that energy from all their bad behavior and we're going to push it into here and say root for this side. And here's why. And what it should be is we're going to strive to have better customer relationships with you guys. We're going to try not to just freak out on customers. And we're going to try to deliver when we say we're going to deliver. I think that's still an important thing to do. Yeah. Quality. I mean, it's all there. I mean, everything that I've always understood Comicsgate to be, this is what we're going for.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
There you go.
Let's see. And let me see. A new disguise says, who's drawing? Pretty sure it's not a car. I'm pretty sure it's not me too. That is Elliot Fernandez drawing. And doing it quite well, by the way. People are.
What are you drawing this for?
I'm just messing around with practicing the green version of this. These are my favorite characters to draw when I experiment with the new.
You do draw the Hulk a lot. I've noticed that over the years. Have you ever drawn the gray Hulk though? I always notice it's the green Hulk. You don't ever draw like gray Hulk.
Not really a big fan of that Hulk, but
oh wow.
Yeah,
I love the gray Hulk. I love gray Hulk.
Hulk has always been my Hulk, the Savage Monster.
Let's see. Saggy Bone saw a headline that the $20 bill was delayed. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that they put, but I also thought that when they did, they're doing what Sojourner Truth. I can't remember who the hell they were putting on, or Harriet Tubman. They're putting on the 20. So they were going to have some $20 bills with Harriet Tubman and some with Andrew Jackson, and it was supposed to, I guess, start next year, and now it's being pushed back. But I was like, as long as my money spends, I don't give a shit. She's been dead for 100-something years. I don't know, but I guess I'm supposed to be angry about it. But I don't know.
Did someone just ask you about that?
Yeah, it's in the chat. As I was saying, it was just like,
that's topical. That's
I was like, okay. But yeah, I saw that came up on my news feed. People are outraged. It's like, that damn Trump is making it so the black woman doesn't get on the $20 bill. And I was like, I don't give a shit. If my $20 bill doesn't buy the same shit that my $20 bill would buy, like, say, a year ago, then we have a problem. and like when the value of my dollar declines, I'm not going to care about.
You know what, though? Honestly, I'm going to feel a little weird shoving a Harriet Tubman into a stripper's G-string.
Oh my God. So it's just, but I mean, no, I saw it, but I mean, I was like, does everything have to be political now? I was like, because even putting Harriet Tubman on the 20 is a political move. So I'm like, okay. And then so there's, certain people are pushing it back. So that's a political move. So I was like, you can't ever win. So I was just, I'm kind of in the mood to quote what the guy, the major from The Wire, his wife said, you cannot lose if you don't play. And so I'm like, I don't want to play. So, it's just like everything can't be politics all the damn time. I hope. Anyway, gotta have.
They'll probably just get rid of everything on all the bills. I mean, at the end of the day, that's pretty much the only thing you're going to be able to do to get, everyone on board. Is just say, look, just get everybody's faces off here. Let's put a barcode on there.
Let me see. Okay, so Eric Hawkins asks, Elliot, what kind of pencils are you using?
I'm using a combination of Prismacolor and Inktense, which I think is the Went brand Inktense. They're water soluble. They work like if you draw on regular paper, they dissolve in water like watercolor. But they are not water. They're a more vibrant pencil, Inktenses. But it is it does work like a regular color pencil. It's a little more buttery. That's a term for that. It's a little more easy to keep things slick and smooth, right, Cecil?
Yes. You had me at butter.
Yeah. I need easy to sing the butter song now, but let me see. JM for $5 says, don't mean Elliot, he was forced to talk about it, but it seems these days denouncing drama is the new drama.
There you go.
Yes, I felt it was very provocative when Elliot denounced drama.
I think that might be something that didn't go on what was happening the other night too. It was another discussion with another person, who shall not be named, denouncing drama. But in truth, I feel he just wanted to talk drama. And it was all in the same wheelhouse too.
Oh, I must be out of the loop. I was like, okay, I'm
out of the loop too. Yeah. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, but what do you got? Did you guys already discuss Tom King getting a shit canned over at DC?
Oh man, now that's interesting. Tom King, I've done a few videos on Tom King, and he seems to always provoke a response.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
All right. But yeah, Tom seems to provoke a response when he does his thing, and I thought his Batman run started out okay, but he has clearly, I thought right before 50, he was starting to lose his way, but I was like, okay, we're about to get a bat wedding. I was cool with it. Now, some people don't like the idea of Batman and Catwoman getting married. I was fine with it. But then they didn't pay it off. That pissed me off. Not to mention the 80-something variant covers that they were milking the fans with. That pissed me off. And that whole thing. So I don't think he was going to be able to recover from that. And then you see the sales are down. So I just, hey,
sales were way down.
Yeah. I was like, how do you fuck Batman up?
I saw something that said when he took over, it had 260,000.
Scott Snyder was definitely, Scott Snyder definitely averaged over 100,000 per issue, and I was just like, but that's a lofty goal, because now if you could sell 25-30,000 copies, you got a hit book all of a sudden. It's like, and you got people to selling 80 to 100,000, and
so he got fired because he wasn't selling books?
He just got removed from that book. I mean, they're going to put him on something else.
Yeah, they're definitely going to keep putting him on stuff. Yeah.
I thought he was doing good on that book. No?
That's what the press was telling you, but the sales were telling
sales are down.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to get all the awards. But awards don't put food on table.
Yeah, that's exactly
it.
Go ahead.
The orders were only about 88,000, but those are the orders. If you go into a comic shop, there are just stacks of Batman. I'm going back 4 or 5 issues, just thick of unsold.
Well, I still see people taking photos of Captain Marvel. Like Captain Marvel, thick stacks of Captain Marvel #1 still sitting on the shelves that they can't get rid of. And I'm like, why did they ship all these? I know this guy didn't order all these books.
Because they were hoping from the movie people would, I don't know.
That they would like, oh yeah, we have to have Captain Marvel, and they go in and it's just yeah, it's just no. It's like, let's see.
I think the Batman beating up Robin this week.
That was the stupidest thing I'd ever seen.
I think that's what got him fired, to be honest.
Well, it definitely had a reaction. And
it was because he said to him, because he was being nice to him, he said, I know you're she broke your heart. And then he punches Robin in the face. The Tim Drake one, it was like the 16-year-old one. He hauls up, and that's like a father. People were like, "What are you doing, Tom King?" Like,
Batman did
that. Was he under a mind control or anything?
No. And then Alfred goes, "You have to. We understand you're under a lot of stress." They explained it away like it was PST. What is it? Post-traumatic PTSD.
I saw what he said, Bane. He's like, "He's broken you, sir."
Yeah,
I was just like,
they should have all been like, hitting him over the head with 2x4s. He just punched a 16-year-old in the face because the kid said, "We understand she broke your heart." He was being nice to him, and Batman had an emotional outbreak. It was so out of character, so stupid. I think that's why he got people are just like, we're done after that.
Let's see. Max Hammer says he still has 14 issues. He's not leaving immediately. My understanding, what issue is this on? Because he's leaving at 85. So I thought he was pretty close, which, issue 85. So
watch these 14 issues be the best issues that have ever come out. Because I would imagine what would happen is he would take whatever plot he actually had that was strung out to issue 100 and condense it. So now we're going to get all the best bits, and he's going to be forced to put out all the BS, and we'll get a good, strong 14 issues.
Let's see, right? It's All-Star Batman and Robin. I thought some of the art. Well, I love Jim Lee's art in All-Star Batman, but I thought Frank Miller kind of lost his fastball with some of that. I'm the goddamn Batman. I was like, okay. It just, although I am curious to read his his Superman Year One with John Romita Jr. I am curious to see how that would turn out because I haven't seen. It looks like John Romita actually took his time with the pages and didn't. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. It looks like when he was doing that. What was that book that Richard kept promoting? What was it, Silencer or whatever?
Yeah,
he just looked like he was just shitting those pages out. It just looked horrible, and I was like, but he was like, it's well written, but the art might need a little tweak. And it looks like John is kind of like had the ability to take his time, and but I don't know if Frank can still write anymore. And I know that's blasphemous to even say it, but some of the last stuff that I've read from Frank, it just seems like he's an angry old man now. And
on the All-Star Batman stuff, what I can say is, one, I mean, it went a little too dark where whatever Robin is down, right? Wasn't that where he was in the cave and he had to eat the rat? Right? Like, you got to learn how to survive. And but what I remember was, outside of the great depths of darkness that Miller was doing, was that whatever people have to say, good or bad, about that goddamn Batman stuff, I mean, it was funny. And I wish that it hadn't gone that dark in the story. And I think that's something that would have worked, or may still work, with something like Batman, where you bring that kind of fun energy back. And I mean, Jim Lee was drawing the hell out of that book.
Yeah,
too.
the art looked amazing on that. I will say Jim was he was definitely in his wheelhouse with that. So I definitely, that's why I went ahead and picked up the trade paperback and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it doesn't speak to me the same way that Daredevil Man Without Fear from Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. does, because I thought that was a brilliant book. But that's why I'm curious to read. I'm curious to read Superman Year One for the same reason, because anyone that has read Frank Miller's take on Superman doesn't seem like Frank Miller likes Superman to me.
Definitely not.
Yeah, if you read, like in The Dark Knight Returns and stuff, Superman's the Boy Scout. He doesn't seem to really write Superman as a desirable character, someone that he admired, but the way he writes Batman, it's different. So the fact that he's the one giving a Superman story, I'm like, this is gonna be an interesting Superman story. But I wish Frank Miller had wrote this story 20 years ago when it seemed like he was still more in his prime and stuff. I don't know. It's just my opinion, though.
I think it might have been your boy Zach brought up something, and it kind of works here too. When Miller came up with this, was this his idea to do the Superman story, or was this DC coming to him and say, write us a Superman story? Because your boy Zach's point was essentially that if it's DC coming to him, then it's like, okay, I'll take the money and run. Versus if it's an idea that Frank has, then that would be something that he would actually have inspiration to put into the story.
I am curious how that came, because like I said, the fact of all the people to write Superman, Frank Miller would be like at the bottom of my list. And I love Frank Miller just because all the stuff that I've read from Frank where he has Superman in it, it's pretty clear Frank hates Superman. Or at least maybe I'm wrong about that, but it just seemed like when you read like Dark Knight Returns and stuff, he does not like Superman.
Yeah, he was like, he was writing a Superman. He would be somebody who would work for a fascist government, who would just be following orders, who would, be a soldier, and that was his take on Superman. I don't know if that was just for that universe. Is this going to be like an Elseworlds thing that Frank Miller is doing, or is it the main Superman?
Now that I'm not sure. I just know it's on the Black Label. So I don't know. It might be considered an L, because I think that Batman
will we see his super cock?
Oh God, please no. I was like, please no. I don't need to see the cow penis. I don't need to see that. I don't need to. But I did see some of the interesting art that John Romita Jr. had done, where he actually had the Superman crest with the black on the inside with the red letter. It was just, I don't know, it's interesting. So they're like going way back. It looked like they're fusing some of that old Golden Age stuff in there. And so I know Frank does his research and stuff when he does these things. It just seems like the last few stories I've read from it seems like he's kind of angry and stuff. And I was just like,
did they work together, Frank Miller and John Romita Jr.?
Yeah, Daredevil, Man Without Fear, which is one of the greatest Daredevil stories ever. Yeah, Man Without. That's why I was excited for this. I was like, yeah, but that's the thing. John Romita Jr., I've been kind of critical of his art the last few years too, because I feel like he's been just like, he's been taking it for a check, which he's a legend.
Yeah, but if he's doing a Black Label with Frank Miller on like, a premier character like Superman, I guarantee he steps it up. It's going to be good.
Well, that's why I'm saying it looks like he's actually taking his time on the pages this time. It looks like
they've seen a lot of it already, or
it's they did a preview on comicbook.com, I think, or was it CBR, one of them, where they showed just some of the, I think like a page or two of it. And I was like, it looks interesting, and definitely be something I want to read. So
yeah, I'll check that out.
So okay, so people want. Let me see. Hold up. I saw Elliot. They said, "Can you tell us more about Doom Kicker?" From Rodwell Stevens. He wants to know about Doom Kicker.
It'll all come out very, very soon.
Do you know when you're going to launch or any of that kind of stuff? Or
today, but we ended up talking about some new stuff. I added a new couple of pages plus prints, so I got to work on that to set up the campaign. So I'm kind of mugged. This is a break for me.
Well, the reason I asked is, Doug sent out, backer letter, and he mentioned like that you're going to launch like next week or something. So he mentioned that in the thing there. So let's see.
Ryan does.
Now, Frank Miller's not going to step on Bendis's toes because he's got a really good run going with Superman.
Does he?
No,
I've heard a lot of people.
No, I'm fucking.
Okay, because I'm sitting there going, I was like, am I wrong? Everybody's been telling me that shit was trash.
No, like it's literally the worst Superman run.
Okay, that's why I was like, okay.
He's been doing that about a year now, right?
He's been at it. Has it been a year already? No,
it's been. What? I thought he came on like last June, right? He came right when Ethan was finishing up that last Green Lantern book. I thought.
I remember all the ads. Bendis is coming. Bendis is coming. And it was,
Yeah, Ethan was leaving. Bendis was coming. So it was.
So what are some of the high and low points of that, Cecil? You've been reading it?
no, I've been watching the reviews on YouTube. I don't buy any Marvel and DC. I quit DC after Robbie Rodriguez sent his a-hole out, and got zero reprimand from the company.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm
That's
done.
shameful.
I'm done with DC, and Mark Waid made me done with Marvel. So I haven't bought, and I was good for over 100 a week at the comic shop, Marvel and DC. But done. But I still watch the reviews and stuff on YouTube about them. Basically, I was reading the Super Sons, and people really loved the Jonathan Kent character, and he just came in and destroyed all that, like just wrecked it.
And he's like grown now or a teen.
Yeah,
like, did they get...
it was like the one thing that DC had going that had like a really positive fan reaction, and he just came in and destroyed it. And then to tell it, and I'm not sure if he broke up Lois and him.
Well, that was one of the things I saw where they were like Lois. I saw some people had posted some of the pages, and Clark's talking to Lois, and he was like, "No, I need." She's like, "You don't need me. You want me, but you don't need." It was this kind of stuff, and I was just like, "Okay, so they feel like Superman shouldn't be married anymore." Okay. I was like, yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, that worked out so well for Spider-Man and Mary Jane. They decided to bring that same magic over to Clark and Lois.
Oh, God, man. I was just like, what is it against? Because I don't have that's why I'm saying I didn't have a problem with the idea of Batman and Catwoman being a couple. That's not bad to me. That's evolution. And but I guess people's like, no, Batman can never be happy. He has to be brooding. I was like, I think he can still have a war on crime, but have his woman with him out there kicking ass with him. I don't think that's bad, but I don't know. I guess I'm in the minority on that though, because people are like, by the way, Elliot, what is that? That looks fantastic. What are you drawing there? The eye and everything. What is that? Is like the Beast or something, or was that a character from Doom Kicker? Or?
No, just John.
Just something you saw. Okay, I was like, man, that looks dope, man. I was like, what is that?
Is it a werewolf?
I'm trying to impress Jon Malin.
It's a werewolf.
Oh, I'm impressed.
I don't know. Is it a werewolf? I can make it a werewolf.
I thought make it Gray Beast. I don't know. I like the Dark Beast. I don't know if you've ever drawn the Dark Beast.
No, but there's a reason.
I was just like, I don't know. I always loved Age of Apocalypse. That whole run, Joe Madureira, all that stuff. I just love it, man. Great stuff. Let's see. Let me see. John Penn, heaven forbid they at the worst case give him happiness, then have someone shoot. Oh God, that would be so cliche. They'd have Batman get married and he'd be happy, and then all of a sudden
she gets shot.
Yeah, I was like, that would be like the worst comic trope of all time. I was like, that would definitely not be
count on it.
I could see that. I could definitely see that, because that was the whole thing. Because even Tom King said, well, they didn't get married now, but I'm going to come back to that, like maybe by the 100th issue that that I will address the relationship. And
what is the point of a 100-issue run in today's market? Like, did he come to them with just the bomb of all pitches where they're like, whoa, this needs 100 issues?
He couldn't have. The reason I'm saying that is because I think he broke down his overall arc maybe, but he just giving them, okay, for this first 10 issues, this first 15 issues, I want to do this, and then I want to transit, because from what's being reported is they after this Batman Punch and Robin thing, they were like, what are your plans? And he sat down with him and let him know, and it didn't sound like they were too excited with how he was planning on ending it. So they were like, okay, we gotta wrap this up. This ain't working. So
yeah, they should have known that from the get go.
That's what I was issues. But yeah, that's why I was sitting. It doesn't sound like you know, but yeah, like I said, the Bat wedding that didn't happen really pissed off a lot of fans. But I could have just seen them getting married and having Bane do something to Cat. Because think about all the stuff that's happened to Catwoman. They even had Hush kidnap her and take her heart out, and then Batman had to they did that. What was it? I think that was a Paul Dini story, where it had Hush, actually take Catwoman's heart out of her chest and everything. I was okay. Let's see. Mayor McCheese $5. Was the Batman wedding supposed to be in their personas or something like that, wearing their costumes? I mean, comics are weird. That's an interesting point, because I was wondering how they would do it, because you'd see sometimes it looked like they were going to have like a private ceremony, like you couldn't, because Selena Kyle is known as a criminal.
Arrested, everybody knows she's Catwoman. All of a sudden, Bruce Wayne's married to the chick that was Catwoman.
Yes, right? That's what I'm saying. So Bruce Wayne, but that's gonna be weird, because like if he is she gonna move in and they're gonna be that would be strange, because everybody knows Selena's identity. She's got a criminal history. So if the world didn't know that she was Catwoman,
and they always see Batman and Catwoman out fighting crime together, and then all of a sudden Bruce Wayne is married to Catwoman.
Yeah, they didn't think that through. Maybe they need a Thanos snap to go back and correct some of that. They need some Infinity Stones.
Please, no.
Oh, okay. So you saw Avengers Endgame, John? What did you?
Yeah.
Because I took so much shit, because I was like, I thought the movie was okay, but it had some time travel problems, the little time travel magic. And
my point was pretty much that it was the first 20 minutes was the movie I wanted to see. And right up to the point that they decrapinate Thanos, spoiler. And then it turned into this big time travel garbage stuff, and I'm like, what is even going on here? It was just a big mess. I mean, it became so confusing trying to kind of link things together and figure things out. And I didn't enjoy it at all.
No,
I mean, visually great. Great,
no, special effects, 10 out of 10. I'll give them 10 out of 10 on special effects. But you start going into all those weird, okay, so you can't change what you did in the past. Okay, if you can't change what happened in the past, then why the fuck are you going back in the past? Hello? I mean, that alone.
They were grabbing, they weren't changing things in the past. They were taking the stone from the past and then returning it exactly back where they took it from.
Yeah,
so
right.
That did make sense. They didn't actually alter the past to change the future.
Well, they specifically said, though, like, okay, because that's why they had to return those stones back to those times after they got done, because it would branch off into 6 alternate timelines. They were, in that little part where they were explaining how time travel works, where they were like, oh, no, Bill and Ted and Back to the Future and all those movies, they got that shit wrong. And this is how time. And they actually, the writers actually said they spoke with some kind of PhD nuclear physicist guy that was all, knew all about like theoretical time travel and all this. And he was like, no, those movies are wrong. What would actually happen was that
they explained it. They said that if you go in the past, it's still going into your own past is now your present. So you going back and changing it won't affect your timeline at all. So that's why they were saying the whole back to the, you going back in time is your past future. So,
but see, and they say all that stuff, but then they broke their own rules. You can't bring Gamora back because she was sacrificed for the Soul Stone.
She didn't come back.
You guys already broke my brain.
She was dead by the end of the movie. She was back when they snapped everything back. She was gone. She wasn't on the ship at the end.
No, but she was still alive.
And how do you return them without altering?
Yeah.
timelines.
Yeah. Oh God, it was so much that I was like, okay.
No, but
Okay.
she was dead. Like she's not in the Guardians of the Galaxy anymore. When Thor
She's still alive. Remember,
They
he
brought
was
her
looking
back.
for. Yeah, they brought her back. It was
No, they didn't
2014
bring her
Gamora.
back.
They
They-
did.
They grabbed her from another timeline.
Yeah, they brought
and popped her right back
2014
in. Didn't you
Gamora
watch
back.
this movie?
I did, but
Cecil?
she didn't stay. She wasn't
Yeah,
on.
because she doesn't love Star-Lord because she didn't know him.
Where'd
That's
she
what
go? She
left.
when Tony snapped everything away, Thanos and his armies, she went with them.
No.
Yes.
No, you didn't see that scene where Star-Lord was on the screen like trying to locate her and stuff. And then Thor walked in and he turned the screen off and shit. That's why she just didn't stick around because
How do you know that?
that's what they were saying.
No,
She's gonna be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. They've already said that.
I thought she got snapped away.
No. She's still around. She just didn't stay around because the 2014 Gamora had not fallen in love with Star-Lord yet.
But still, where the hell would she go? She doesn't have a spaceship or anything.
They didn't
Las
explain
Vegas.
that. Yeah, Las Vegas. It's okay, so she's in Vegas
But
now.
she's just gonna be a green chick walking around Earth. No, she'd still have to go with them, even if her sister was still on the ship.
What?
Yeah, her future
in that
sister,
universe,
not
in
the
that
past sister.
universe, what would it matter to her if she's just a green girl walking around? There's probably plenty of them.
Oh no,
Yeah, but
Lava
not on
Jagata
Earth.
says Cecil might have been drunk in the theater.
Well, that's not untrue.
Okay.
But still, my idea was that she was snapped away. Otherwise, where is she? Was she just walking around upstate New York?
No,
Yeah.
but the producers and stuff, they talked about, they was like, well, she doesn't love Peter, so she had no reason to stick
so where'd she go?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where she. Okay, hold up. Goku Twin says she returned her timeline. They didn't return anybody to their timeline, though, so you can't say that.
No, she got snapped away.
She did not. She didn't phase with everybody, though. She was still there, and then she dipped.
No, after they all faded, she was gone. There was no more scenes with her after Thanos disappeared.
Like, I'll just watch the bootleg and I'll let you guys know tomorrow.
I was like, hey, I'm definitely, because I got to go back and watch, because they were saying that she left because she doesn't have those feelings for Peter.
Where did she leave to?
To the
She
back.
doesn't have a spaceship. She's in.
Yeah, I didn't think about that because I was just like, oh, it makes sense. She just left.
No,
and then I was like, no, it doesn't make sense.
Tony snapped Thanos away. You never saw her again. So, and everything that came with Thanos disappeared. She came with Thanos, so she's gone.
Oh God, Donnie Thumper Fist. This is the worst Who's on First routine ever. And I was like, oh God, no, trust me. The things there was a guy that I was friends with. I have not talked to him since this happened because me and him got into a huge argument just because I said I liked the movie, but it had some problems. And he said, explain. And then when I started listing all the fucked up shit that was in this movie, he got mad at me and he was like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you no more. And then I was like, all right, then peace. And we just left it. Like, I was like, that's funny as hell that we just kind of fell out over that. That's funny. But I was like, I saw the movie and my brain was like, okay.
Gamora is still alive, but she's in. No, is she in the Soul Gem or no? She's dead in the Soul Gem. She's gone.
That's why they couldn't bring present Gamora back, because she was just the same reason like when Bruce said he tried to bring Black Widow back, she was sacrificed for the Soul Stone.
Listen, if she wasn't on that ship with them when they were flying away at the end, then she's not in it. She got snapped away, because after Thanos got snapped and everybody that came with Thanos got snapped, including
but the producers were saying that she's not snapped.
Well, where the fuck is she?
That was like
how could Tony snap it? He didn't even know Gamora. He never even met Gamora. So he snapped it and also saved Gamora, except while his brain was being fried, he said, erase all of Thanos' troops and everybody that came with him, except for Gamora, who I don't even know.
And you're right. You know what? You're absolutely right. Because at first I was like, no, Cecil, you're wrong. He met Gamora. Remember in the fake Infinity War trailer, they made it look like Gamora and Tony Stark were having a conversation, and then you find out that they had just shot some
He
scenes.
never met her, so of
yeah,
course.
that's what I'm saying. But the trailer, just like they put the Hulk in that Infinity War trailer, and he wasn't actually in Infinity War after Thanos whooped his ass and stuff. Like, you remember they showed that Wakanda battle, and they had the Hulk running, and it really wasn't the Hulk, wasn't even in there, and they were just doing that as a big MacGuffin. That was yeah,
This movie sounds terrible.
yeah.
So wait, so in your version, Tony, while his brain is being fried and his only thought is snap away Thanos and everyone who came with him, he would have to consciously make a clause or an exception for a woman he'd never met before.
Exactly. Okay, now that sounds fucking retarded. I agree with that. But I also, the producers, what was it, the Kevin Feige Reddit that he did last week, where he said, oh no, because people were like, what about all those people that were on the helicopters or in airplanes, or people that were like on a surgery bed in a hospital getting operated on that got phased out? And Kevin said, of course those people returned safely. The smart Hulk was smart enough to make sure all those people came back safe. I was like, really, bitch? Okay.
No, that shouldn't be at all.
That's what I'm saying. And the fact that they're having to go through and try to excuse all this fuck shit, that's the stuff that I have a problem with, because they realized that they wrote themselves into some weirdo holes, and that they didn't they were like, okay, that's, just like, I keep going, why the fuck is Peter Parker still in school? He's like 20 now. I mean, I know he was suspended in time, but the world moved 5 years ahead.
His friend should have been 5 years older when he came back.
No, but see, they explained that. They said all everybody that Peter was friends with from the movies all got phased out, including Aunt May. So MJ,
all bad people.
Yeah. Yeah. So I said, okay, so that's rather convenient, because
so he had 100. No, it should be half of the people he knows, not all of the people he knows.
But just
cool
if all the key characters.
If he came back and he was 15 and that girl was 20 that he was in love with, that would be a cool story.
Yeah, but they said they're going to play with that a little bit.
Child rape.
Yeah. Like I said, cool story.
But they said they're going to play with that a little bit. They're going to kind of emphasize that some people that didn't get phased out in the decimation actually are like in school. They're in college now and stuff like that. They're in their 20s or whatever, and they went on with their lives.
Yeah, I think
it's a freaking mess. You guys are scrambling my brain just talking about it. What else we got?
I'm just dropping the sense to Antonio. I'm straightening him out.
No, but
neither of you guys are straightening. It's no, it's not. There's no straightening out going on here.
No, but it really was, because that's what I was like.
No one can make him straight. I got you, John.
No. But no, Infinity War I thought was an incredible film. I thought Infinity War was incredible. So I was like, I need the people that wrote the Endgame and the Game of Thrones people to sit down and have like a table chat about how to fuck up great. It's like all you got to do is stick the landing. And
well, the Game of Thrones, the two writers on that, they had the advantage of, at least for the first handful of seasons, of working over an actual good novel.
Right.
And then when that crutch was gone, they fell apart. That's what happened there. So basically, those two writers were never really worth anything past working under a master. So,
but they got 3 Star Wars films coming up though. So I'm
who many consider a master? I don't know, because I don't read the books. But
the books.
George R.R. Martin is highly respected for those books.
Remember, he said return everybody to exactly where they were. Now, what about people who were on planes? They would have just be left 35,000 feet in the air because the plane is long gone.
Yeah, including
the raining people.
The Nick Fury end scene at Infinity War specifically showed there was somebody flying a helicopter, and all of a sudden the helicopter flew into a building because the pilot is gone. So I thought that was
Kirk Cameron in this movie.
Yes,
it improved the movie.
It was like a half of Judgment Day, like took half the people.
I just, it was very confusing after as I start breaking it down. So I'm like, okay, so even if they said, well, he didn't age. Peter Parker didn't age. He's still a 15-year-old kid. I said, yeah, but the world passed, and he still got the same birth date. So if he showed his ID, he's 5 years older. So why the fuck is he going back to high school?
Gamora better be gone, or I'm going to be pissed. I love the character, but she can't just be wandering Earth. There's no spaceship for her to even steal. The Quinjets are not capable. Like
you got this weird green skinned woman just walking around
New York.
She's what? No, she went down to Texas, the one of those border towns where all the refugees was. She felt like she fit in a little better, like, hey, build the wall. It's just, I don't know. That would be weird, because I was like, I didn't think about that. I was like, she didn't leave on the spaceship, so where the hell did she go? But they're saying she's still alive and she just left because she doesn't have those feelings for Peter.
They're going to run into her in space, but there's no. Would she go and steal a space shuttle? Even a space shuttle can't travel, like, it doesn't have jump capabilities. The only ship on Earth that had that was Peter Quill's.
Yeah, and all of Thanos' ships were destroyed and phased out or whatever. So I don't know. Like I said, no, it's a perfect movie. Fuck me. It's like you point shit out like that, and people say, "Oh, you just upset because they put those women in there." And I was like, I've been reading female characters that are cool for 30 years. I don't have a problem with female characters that are strong. I mean, especially reading Chris Claremont's X-Men run. He had a lot of strong women on that team, and I wouldn't like, why don't they get rid of these women and put more men on here? I didn't do that. I was like, oh, Storm, Psylocke, Jean Grey, let's get it, baby. Jubilee. I was enjoying it.
Whoa. Jubilee was like 16. Take it easy.
I liked her as a character. I didn't say.
Well, Antonio was like 16 when Jubilee was out too, though.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, okay. Oh man, you just saved my ass right there.
Man.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, like,
Jon Malin, attorney at law.
It was like nailing from downtown. I was like, oh shit, I just had a pedo moment.
We have the transcripts. We have the
transcripts. Trust me, someone's gonna loop this. Like, oh, Antonio admitted like he had weird fetish feelings for Jubilee, and I was like, But yeah, let's go back to 1989 when I wasn't 44 years of age. Yeah, back then, I remember when Jim Lee first took over and started drawing X-Men. I actually have that issue. So, it's like, what is it? F Jubilee. It was all about Boom Boom. What happened to Boom Boom? I remember Boom Boom from the New Mutants. I missed her.
She went into X-Force, and I don't know. As soon as Image started, I was over there. So,
I remember, X-Force, booming, and I remember Generation X. They had all those X because what Scott Lobdell was doing that Generation.
Cannonball's girlfriend, was that Boom Boom?
Was she dating Cannonball?
I don't know if she was dating him.
Yeah, because hell, I thought they was at one point. I thought they were playing with Cannonball's sexuality. I thought they were gonna make him like bi-curious or something, or I don't know, because I remember he was from Kentucky or something. I know he's from the South. And they would always write this weird Southern. I was like, you could tell that the person that is writing the dialogue for Cannonball is not a real Southerner, but they're trying to make him sound like Huckleberry Hound or something. Gee golly, I got to get my power up so I can stop the Juggernaut. They would write him in this weird Southern drawl, and it would be weird. I was like, okay, that doesn't read very well. It just have him kind of right, I don't know. People that aren't from the South, they just make everybody. It's funny when you see Hollywood actors.
It's not our fault, Antonio. We can't think that slow.
Yeah, oh man, it's like everybody sounds like Andy Griffith all of a sudden. I was just, which I love Andy Griffith, by the way.
I've tried everything to slow it down. I've tried drugs, booze. I'm out of ideas here.
So I was like, okay, hold up, sketch therapy. I wanted one of the portals to open to Deadpool, Wolverine, and Magneto on the tip of the Blackbird, with Deadpool saying, I'm gonna send you to your death Tell her I said hi. This ass whooping is not. Well, it would have been cool to see Deadpool versus Thanos because they've battled in the comics because they were both in love with death. So I don't, but they definitely won't ever touch that storyline.
Why? I wish they did do it that he was like a death worshiper.
Yeah, and once they changed his storyline, just saying, oh, he just wants to balance the universe instead of he's killing all these people because he's trying to impress death. You just once you did now it worked for the movie and everything,
yeah, but then it did say why not just double the resources? Why kill half the people? You have the power to do anything.
Yeah, he had the power to. Yeah, he could have just said, okay, let's give everybody more food, more resources. Yeah. That was
right. So, but if he worshipped death, then it would make sense. He wants that there's a sacrifice for her.
Let's see, Arthur Brown.
It would have also been cooler because then I would have introduced those type of characters like, even Galactus and Death and more cosmic characters.
Well, they're doing that Eternals movie, and I saw one of the things they're doing an open casting
for that. Is anyone excited for an Eternals movie?
Well, they were like they're looking for either an Asian or Latino actor to play a gay Eternal, and I was like, okay. I was like, but I did see Josh Brolin said that he'd be willing to. He wants to come back since it's set. It's set before a lot of these other events happen, and he's part of that. The Thanos is part of that whole Eternals situation, so he wants to come back and play like a younger Thanos.
I heard that he will play. Josh Brolin would be willing to play an Asian or a Latino, but he will not play a gay character.
I actually don't.
Guys, I'm gonna have to pop out here so I can get ready for Drawn and Quartered.
Oh, okay.
What's the subject tonight?
It's Cyberfrog tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, Cyberfrog.
Yeah.
So I've never drawn him before, so that'll be interesting because I know Ethan is a stickler for the character.
Yeah. So. Trust me, I know. Matter of fact, I guess we've been going for a little while here. I guess we should
just draw Kermit with like Winter Soldier arms.
That would be funny, actually. I think. But let me get this question from Uncanny Kodiak, and then I'll just wrap the stream up because we've been going for a little while. So he said Tony Stark is smarter than he looks, guys. Gamora's sister was part of their recon team. He watched Star-Lord go nuts over her death.
Yeah, but his brain was being fried at that point.
Don't try to explain
the general plane, make everything disappear. He wouldn't have time for stipulations.
That's why I'm saying it's just like Kevin Feige saying, "Oh no, the Hulk was smart enough to realize everybody was in plane crashes. They came back home safe and all that. Just stop it, man. Y'all fucked up. Just own that shit."
There should be a price to humanity from what happened. It shouldn't be everything is exactly the way it was.
Yeah, everybody came back and it was awesome. And I was like, the fact that he's saying that with a straight face because people were asking the questions because it was very confusing, and then they admitted they was like, "Well, we didn't explain that right. We maybe should have been a little bit more clear about how some of that worked or whatever." And I'm like, "Come on, man, y'all made a mistake. Just own that shit." So,
Elliot, are you on Drawn and Quartered too?
No, I'm gonna call it a night tonight. I was gonna work on.
Why don't you just hand this in and just say it's Cyberfrog? But
paint him green, baby.
Paint it green.
There you go.
It's your interpretation. Elseworlds.
This is it. That's Salamandroid. It's like this is my Salamandroid. Ethan. There you go. Well, all right, guys. We are going to wrap this fantastic stream up. My very, very humble thanks to my friends Cecil and Jon Malin and the ever-present Jerkmonger. I'm very much looking forward to Doom Kicker when it launches, and I am sure it will be a outstanding success. But anybody got anything to say before I do my whole spiel?
Vote for me twice on Drawn and Quartered.
If anybody gets a chance, watch my Game of Thrones video that I put up 2 days ago.
I watched it. It was fantastic, sir.
It's the best Game of Thrones video ever made by anyone.
Cecil is chasing the dragon now. He's never going to get it back. that 400 and what was it, 20,000 views?
26, I think. I'm not counting though.
Yeah, how did you? Yeah, I got a video that did like 78,000, and I was like, "How do you get to 400? I need that. I need to get that bag like that, man." So, yeah, all right,
All right,
Ellie?
guys.
All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel. Everywhere is at Akari Press. And if you type in akaripress.com, it will take you directly to my Indiegogo campaign for my comic book series brand with the phenomenal Kanan White. We're on Teespring. We're on Amazon.com. The links to those are in the description. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. I'm out.
Bye.